Closing market comments for Thursday, October the 22nd. Grains opened lower last night, rallied during the evening and the early morning session, and then sold off from the highs during the day this afternoon. Wheat ended up closing down 7 to 8 cents. Corn ended up closing up slightly at 2 cents to unchanged on the deferred months, and soybeans ended up closing unchanged to lower on the deferred months. Grains continue to be strong overall. We'll see whether this trend can continue. Wet weather is predicted for South America in both the 6 to 10 and 11 to 15 day forecast, which should help them get progress going on their planting. Continues to be dry in the western plains, with cold weather coming now, causing some concern about wheat development because of the cold conditions on the hard red winter wheat out there, and Ukraine and Russia remaining relatively dry at this time. Export sales this morning had Mexico buying 152,404 metric tons of soybeans, had Unknown buying 132,000 metric tons of soybeans, and South Korea bought 130,000 tons of white wheat, which were all good sales for us again today. Weekly export sales were also announced this morning. Corn sales at 72.1 million bushels. That's up from 25.8 million last week. 21.6 million last year, with 31 to 55 million expected and 28.5 million needed. So a very strong week in corn exports last week. Soybean exports at 81.8. Sales last week were 94.7, so just down a little bit from last week. Last year at 32.6, trade was expecting 55 to 92, and we know we need to average selling 10.0 million bushels a week to meet the USDA goal. That's why a lot of people think we're going to exceed the exports on the year. Wheat sales were 13.5 million. That's down from 19.4 million last week, but above last year at 9.6 million, with 7 to 29 expected and 12.4 needed per week, so about right on line with what's expected. Soybean meal sales were strong at 321,900 metric tons of soybean meal. That's up from 152,200 last week and 152,900 last year, with the expected range of 100 to 350,000, so towards the upper end of the range, and 172,600 needed per week. There was talk today of Bunge closing down a facility in South America. Cause was unknown. There was talk of possibly an explosion or fire, and the question was how long would it be closed and what impact would it have on the demand for soybean meal. In outside markets, the dollar was up 360 points today. Gold and silver were lower. Crude oil was up a little bit, and the stocks were mixed with Dow and S&P higher and NASDAQ lower. Have a good evening.